and gentlemen, we are live. I am so excited to be here with you today. My name is Devin. If you have never been around these parts before, I am the person behind La Libre Language Learning or La Libre Language Learning if you teach French. I used to teach both, and now I work full time behind the scenes to support teachers in a lot of different ways. And today, I'm really excited to be joining you back for Wolang Wednesday for our first in a back to school series. This one is going to be all about one of my favorite topics to talk about, besides all things comprehensible input, is we're talking today planning strategies. Thank you so much, y'all, for joining me. I'm going to be watching the comments here, so make sure that you post for me first. Where are you watching from? And when do you start? Or maybe you've already started. So where are you watching from and when do you start school? Okay, now, y'all, here's what we got going on for today. I dropped in the event for today a link for exactly everything that I'm going to be going through today. That's called the Priority Planner page. It's a free download, so make sure that you have that for today's class. Let me see if I can get it in here for you and make sure that it's in the comments too. If not, I'll be sure to post it again at the end as well. But you're going to need that for today's class, because today what we're going to be doing is talking all about the things that make planning so hard when you are a big dreamer teacher, like I know I was, and I know that you are, because that's why you're here, because planning is really hard. Planning is really, really hard. Okay, let me see if I got this here. Da, 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 da. So what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, cool. I got it copied. I'm going to post this in the comments, y'all, so you can see it. You're watching from home. Yeah, Christine. All right, cool. I got this link for you here. Oh, you start September 8th. Good. Then you're solid. I'm going to put in the comments right here the link that you need for today. Just go ahead and click on it and it should download for you right away. Okay, that's what we're going to need for today's class. But I'm on a timeline, y'all. We're going to make sure that we get everything started and ready to go. So make sure that you got that download and let's get rolling right into it. Okay, now, first, a quick check. You are in the right place if when you sit down to write your list of things that you are working on, either for the day or for the project, like whatever you're doing here, like this is mine for today. If you start looking at this list and it makes you feel some type of way, some of these things might be. I've experienced all of these. Some of these things might be. So put it in the comments below if this is you. One, it just makes you break out in hives. Like at the beginning of the school year, there's just so much to do. You're just like, I'm just going to throw it away. Is that you? Number one. Number two, all of them feel important. Where do I even start? All of them feel important. Number three, why is my list longer at the end of the day than when I started? Why is it that when I start writing things down, that I start with a really good, like solid list. And then by the end of the day, as I'm checking emails, as I'm running through, all the busy things that you have to do as a teacher, your list ends up longer. What is up with that? Or maybe you're a teacher, and you could be more, you could be multiple things. Maybe you're teacher number 4 and you never feel like you're done at the end of the day. I used to experience this literally every day. It was such a huge pain point for me where it was one of the reasons I had such a hard time leaving work on time. So if this is you, I seriously feel you. I'm seeing into your soul right now, not in a creepy way, in like a I get you kind of way, maybe a little bit both, but that you're sitting at your desk and you're trying to like get all your ish in a bucket so that you can finally go home, but you just feel glued to your desk because you don't feel done. You've got this list of things and you're worried about tomorrow. You're like, if I cross off a few more things today, maybe tomorrow will be easier. And the problem with that logic is that it feels like that every day if we don't get to the root of what's really going on with your planning strategy. So I also want to address too that like the reality of the fact that you have a million things on your list is just real no matter what, because you're a teacher. So you're always going to have more to do and you're never going to have enough time to do it all. And that is why I'm a total planner addict, and that's why I make planners now, because I absolutely love planners for how much they help to streamline my planning process, and for the way that they have, as I've learned to use them well, have taught me how to save time, not by making me more efficient, because I've always been the same level of efficient. Really, I'm a pretty efficient person, but I mean, you kind of have to be a teacher, right? Like you can't hang in the game if you're not efficient. Everybody who's watching here is an efficient person, a very good planner, probably a very strong planner, and probably very organized. But I bet you the reason that you're here watching this right now is because you're wondering, why is this not getting better? Maybe you've been doing this for a long time. I was in the classroom for 5 years before I started working behind the scenes full time with teachers. And it wasn't until my last year in the classroom, when I went home every day on time for a year, not because I wanted to, but because I had to, for a health crisis related to stress and migraines, that I finally learned that it had nothing to do with how efficient I was. It had to do with figuring out a way that I could achieve the right energy, the right feeling at the end of the day, where I could leave work at work, go home, relax, recharge, be at peace, and then do the same thing the next day. And it does not at all involve doing more work either. Getting more things done is not the solution to getting more things crossed off your list. So if you are one of those 4 teachers where your to-do list just makes you want to cry because it's so long, or if you are, I already don't even remember all the numbers. If you're one of those teachers where your to-do list somehow just ends up getting longer by the end of the day, that happens to a lot of people. I know it used to happen to me sometimes. Or if you are just by the process of checking your inbox and doing all your things, are you number 3? Put in the comments if you are number 3, where your admin just keeps sending you things to do because they've got a laundry list of things for you too, in addition to yours, and you just don't even know where to start. And the last one I would say is that you never feel like all of your tasks are done. Maybe you're all 4. If so, you're in the right place. So let's jump right into it so that we can figure out how to make our planning process smarter, more efficient. And I am going to say that your new mantra, which is my new mantra too, because I am in a new season of life as well, where I'm trying to really scale back how much I work, because I was for a while, like working every Saturday, sometimes Sundays, that kind of thing. And if you joined me for the conference, and I was working extra crazy hours for the conference, and now it's time for me to scale back. So the season, which we're about to talk about here, this is your new mantra: working on the right things at the right time. Working more is not the answer. Working on the right things at the right time, and getting you towards the goal in this year where you're still being asked to do way more than you ever have been asked to do before. How can you still have a successful planning day? So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen right here now. Make sure that you got that download ready to go. And we're going to be looking at this here. This is what it will look like for you when you get this downloaded here. This is called the Priority Planner page, and you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Let me check in on the comments here while you get a chance to look at this here. Oh, y'all, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to see you. Hi, Christine. So excited for your new planner. These pages are awesome. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you like it. Well, let's get into it. I'm going to show you how to use it today. So, ladies and gents, for a very long time, I struggled with planning because I am probably like you. I'm a very driven, ambitious, and creative person. And in my teaching, I loved to try new things in my teaching. And I also was, for a long time, maybe you're a world language teacher and that's why you're here, but all teachers are welcome today, where I was trying out a teaching method that was definitely different than the way I was taught how to teach, called proficiency and comprehensible input. And that required a lot more planning on my part. So I always struggled with getting everything done in the right amount of time. And at first, what it ended up being was that I worked like 60, 70-hour weeks on the reg. It was not just during back to school season. So I feel that it's my personal mission today to teach you how I finally kicked that habit, even while teaching during quarantine time when I felt like my students really needed me the most, how this method of planning really helped me to dial in on what was the important thing to work on and how to approach my to-do list from more of an energy perspective and much more of a priority perspective. And there's 4 things involved in that today. Now, we don't have a lot of time today, so I'm not going to be able to get through everything, but you have this full download to explore for yourself. But here is your new mantra, as we talked about. Let's jump on into this part here. You ready? It is the right focus at the right time, working on the right things at the right time. And that's what this planner system is going to show you how to do. Now, there are lots of great planner systems out there. I've literally probably tried all of them. I've tried most of the major planner companies, and I really like them. But the reason why I created this one and why I think this method is going to really help you out too is because this one focuses specifically on focus, clarity, intention, and perspective, which is what I think is missing from a lot of our planning conversations. We're not here to talk about organization and productivity. I know that's probably why you came here, but that's not really what you need. What you need is perspective, because what this method is going to show you how to do, and you could honestly apply it to any method if you want to. I've got a nice little page for you to help you organize it. But what this is really all about is getting you into the habit of daily reflection and very brave decision making. That is the secret, I would say, to effective planning that's going to get you home on time from work, no matter what crazy season that you are in. So let's jump right into what this looks like. I'm scrolling through this here. Hold on, let me get back to a good size. I'm just so excited to show you all this, y'all. Okay, so how does this work? This whole first part refers to the weekly spreads. We're not going to talk about that part today, but I would definitely check this out. It involves figuring out what season you're in and what focus you're in. Let me just touch on this briefly in case you want to dive into this a little bit, but we're going to be focusing on the daily page today. There's 2 components to this planning method that I like and that I created, and here they are. There's weekly planning and reflection. The reflection part is the important part. And the daily prioritizing of tasks, whether that be during your planning period or maybe like first thing when you get to school, those like 15, 20 minutes of the quiet before the storm. That's when I used to do this. So you do what works for you. But that's what all this refers to is the life domain circle. You can read through all this. But the basic gist of this here is that looking at this, and what you do is you fill in how much you're focusing in on each of these life domains every week. And the goal, of course, being that you're trying to get to some semblance of balance, although it's always going to be, 1 or 2 things are going to be more focused than the other. Your goal is to keep this in perspective. What season are you in? The stage you're at in relationship to work, life, and health. So if I asked you right now, put it in the comments below, what season do you think you're in right now? Because I'll tell you that probably a lot of you are in back to school season. The true magic of achieving satisfaction with a job like teaching, I would say, is understanding the ebb and flow of how life and work interplay. Because right now, work is probably going to be your number 1 priority. And there ain't no shame in that game at all. There's no shame in that game. The problem comes is that when it's October, November, December, and you're still treating work like it's back to school. That's where we need to talk about what really is your season and what really is your focus. So the power of knowing what your season is and identifying it is that it releases you from the tension and the responsibility of trying to act like you're in a season that you're not. So for example, are you in a season right now where you need to be a caretaker? Are you a new parent? Did you just adopt a child? Are you in a season right now where you've got some family tension that you need to work out? Are you in a season where work for anything, like you're something outside of work matters more than back to school? Then it's okay for work not to be your number one priority. Your focus right now might be your spiritual and your fitness because you've realized that something is really out of whack for you right now. That's okay. That's the season that you're in. And you know what your focus is going to be? That's the domain that gets the most attention to get you there. So, what's the point of doing this every week? Is that when you go to this page, let me just sneak over here for a second. When you go to this page of reflecting a little bit on your wins, on your failures and lessons, and things like that, what you're going to let go of, what you're going to keep doing. Ooh, it's skipping ahead for me because it's excited too. You're going to write down every week. What's your season? What's your focus? So that when you start writing things down in your to-do list, and you'll see on the daily page that your season and focus is right there next to it, like beep, 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 blaring at you. That if you've got things lined up on your to-do list that don't line up with your season and focus, it's a lot easier for you to make brave decisions. That's the purpose of that. So we're not doing reflections like at the end of lesson plans where you have to like reflect for your admin and be like, what could have gone better? This is meaningful reflection. I know what that's like when you're like asked to do reflection. You're like, I'm never going to look at this again. This is meaningful reflection where you're going to use this again in a meaningful way. Your meaningful reflection is looking at what really is your season of life right now and what is your focus. Now, I'm going to give you an example of a season and a focus so you can see what this is. And you'll have time to go through this and read this later so that you have some examples to work with. But let's just look at some examples. Seasons might last longer, maybe a year, maybe a whole pandemic. Life is wild that way. That's where the beauty of seasons come in. So here are some examples of seasons that I've had in my life. A first-year teacher with a newborn. You can imagine that was a crazy season. A new school, a wedding planner while being a teacher, family hardship, career queen, you get the gist. Right now, I am in a season of balance. That's what I'm working on. So I'm focusing a lot on family and I'm focusing a lot on health. So this is where you will be working on this, your season and your focus. So now that you've had some examples, what do you think your season is right now? And what's going to be your focus to get you there? My focus right now is family and fitness because my season is balance. Let's get to the good stuff now. You ready? This is where you're really gonna love this. All right, let me show you what it looks like from a whole view so that you can see what your daily planner looks like. Okay, so this is your daily planner, and you can see that it's got a little bit of a flow to it. Oh, look here. There's your season. There's your focus. So you're gonna write it down every dang day, every dang day, every dang day. And right underneath it is your water tracker, very self-explanatory. And your gratitude is a really important part of your daily planner practice. This is the perspective part. This is where you remember what you're grateful for, because that puts everything into perspective for you and sets you up for a great day. You're going to save this part for end of the day. We'll talk about that in a minute when I show you an example. A space for notes. And then this little section for at home is a place to write down those things that, like, I don't know about you, but like in the middle of planning and writing things down, I used to always be like, oh, switch over the laundry. Like, oh God, it's been in there for 2 days. Or, oh man, I got to schedule that car appointment. Like right now, my car needs an oil change. And it's been on my at home section for like 4 days in a row. So I know I need to do that. Don't you have those things? Who has those things that you've written down in your planner like 4 or 5 days in a row? You just haven't done it. I'm super guilty. I do that a lot. All right, let me check in on what we got going on here. Ooh, okay. So brave decision making. Yes, Christine knows what's up. Pav, what's up? I love learning from you, Pav. I'm so glad that you're here. Kristen, what's the difference between a season and a focus? Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. Okay, ready? Your season is where you're at in your life right now. Your focus is the life domain that you're going to hone in on to get there. So for example, My season right now is balance. Before this, I was running a virtual conference with 3,100 attendees, and my season was like go mode, girl. I was doing all kinds of crazy work stuff and a lot of Uber Eats, a lot of Uber Eats. And now my focus is family and fitness, because those were all out of whack while I was doing a lot of working. So my season right now is balance. It's getting everything into balance, because for 3 months, everything was work. And now I'm getting back into balance. Your season might be something like back to school, go girl. That might be your season. And that means that work and your teaching skills are going to be everything that you are focusing on to get you where you need to be. And that might be what August, September, and October look like for you. If you're a new teacher, that might also be what you're looking at. I hope that helps. Let me know if that helps you. All right, so let's get into the rest of these here. This is the part where things start to get nitty-gritty, as Nacho Libre would say. These are the tasks. So the tasks here, this is where you're going to write out like the ish you need to get done today. Like this is where you're really going to get moving. And now we're going to start to prioritize them. So let's talk about how this works, because this is where you're going to start to do that brave decision making. Are you ready? Let's zoom in on this a little bit. Now that you've seen what it looks like, I'm going to tell you how it works. Okay. Ooh, and I've got to zoom a little bit more carefully, clearly. All right. I'm struggling. Hold on. Come on back here. Get back here, Adobe. All right. Oh, man. Can y'all see this? All right. I'm going to move real slow. There we go. Okay. Let's look at tasks. Here's where we get to the heart of productivity and organization. But again, it's not about productivity and organization. It's about brave decision making. How do we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but some people seem to get more done? The secret is not that they have more time or less on their plate. They're better at clarity. And that is what this page is intended to help you with. They work on the right thing at the right time. Timing is everything for this. So here is how you can simplify your task list from a wish list, this is what I'd like to get done today, to an actual to-do list. First, this is your first step. Brain dump in any order all of the tasks that you need to get done in the little task part. You can also do this weekly if you want to. That's totally fine. Because if you decide to go all out and do like the full planner, there's a space where you can do this weekly. But with the free version that you get here, you get space to do this in a daily spot. And you could do all these methods on a sheet of paper, because I want to make sure that you've got everything that you need to plan better. You're working on the right task at the right time by brain dumping all the tasks that you need to do for the day in the task part. Next, you're going to simplify by doing this. You're going to go into the teacher matrix. This is an updated version of the Eisenhower matrix. Maybe you've heard of this, where it's the idea of like urgent versus important. So do now is what's urgent. Let's look at this. Do today is what's important. Delegate or tomorrow are things that you're not going to realize until you get to the end of your list, but you'll have some clarity moments as you work through them. And I'm going to show you an example where you'll see that. The next thing is you're going to go to if time. If time are the things that like, oh man, I really want to get to, but maybe they don't make it into your top 3 priorities. So after you're done doing your brain dump, you're going to look at your box, your Eisenhower matrix of what you're going to try and make sure are your urgent things, the things that you've got to get done, like right friggin' meow, and the things that are important. Important things are bigger things that might take longer chunks of time, but you know that like an urgent thing is like something that screams in your face, like an email or a phone call, like, okay, I got to do that right now. But Maybe some of those emails can wait if like I need to make sure that my copies and lesson plans are ready for tomorrow. That's important, important. And then Delegator tomorrow will come to you as you start planning. From there, I usually like to do the top 3 priorities. That's how I like to do that here. And the top 3 priorities comes from the whole idea that if you want to finally feel like you're done at the end of the day, you have to pick what needs to get done for your day to actually go smoothly. What needs to happen so that the children in your room learn something, survive the day physically, mentally, and emotionally, and you have officially done your job. Those are your top 3 priorities. And going through and doing the brain dump of getting everything out and then organizing it through the box and then doing the priorities is really going to help you with this. Now, the next thing you might be wondering is like, doesn't that take a long time? Honestly, not really. Honestly, not really. This took me about 10 minutes this morning to do. And it also, I would say, will take you a lot less time than wasting your time during your precious planning period trying to do the easiest thing first because you just can't figure out what to do next. There's just too many things on your list. Going through your inbox and clearing out your inbox because you're like, well, I mean, this is productive and I just don't know what else to do right now. Or batch tasking copies for the next 6 weeks, meanwhile, which is very productive, but meanwhile, you don't know what you're teaching tomorrow. Ask me how I know. I've done all of those things. I've done all of those things. This system is something that I use to make sure that I got home on time every day when I absolutely needed to, because it forced me to look in the face what I really needed to get done every day in order to feel good at the end of the day, that I knew what I was teaching the next day, that I had all of my materials ready, that my inbox was no longer urgent, that I'd answered everything that really needed attention. And that brings me to my absolute favorite part of this that I wish every teacher planner had, and you're going to wish that it had it too. And it's called the Daily 4. The Daily 4 is awesome. Daily 4 may never be done as a teacher. I've used this tool for almost 3 years, just like putting it at the bottom of my planner. And now that I have a planner, I can officially bring it to you. I hope you love it as much as I do. Your Daily 4 means that your work might never be done, but your day can come to a really nice, satisfying close with this magical tool. You'll literally never want to leave school without it. It's the most important part of the whole page. Even if things don't get finished from your day, you can go home feeling satisfied if you got at least 3 out of 4. This is what it looks like. Here's your Daily 4. Do you have 3 out of 4 of these things done? It might look slightly different for you, and you can feel free to modify. Like I modify them now since I'm not in the classroom. Like I modify my Daily 4. Maybe you can see it now. One of my goals is to follow a time block schedule. So I've edited this to be time block. Here's the Daily 4. Check this off. Do you have your next day copies or materials ready? Is everything in Google Classroom? Kind of deal. 2, is your inbox clear? And that doesn't mean that like all of your emails are answered, because I don't know about you, but I used to get like, over 100 emails a day, especially during remote teaching. It got insane. But have you answered everything that's urgent? Have you answered everything within that 24-hour period? Like if you get something that's at 3 p.m. before you're about to leave for school, leave it. Leave it. It's fine. Unless it's something that's going to keep you up at night, then give a quick answer. But is your inbox clear of everything from the morning? That's what that means. Not inbox 0. The next one, board, room, or slides set up. I cannot tell you how much stress this will put off of your shoulders. Do you have your board set up? If you like change the date every day, or you have a calendar talk routine with your students, or you need to wipe off what you did yesterday with your students, or like set some things up. I know I used to definitely use a lot of manipulatives in class and like test cards and things. So I would have those ready and cut up the day before if I could, like get most of them done. And then the last one is like tidy-ish. Can the students get to their seats? You're good. Did you follow all the sanitation requirements? You're good. You're good, tidy-ish. Because we all know that the first thing that we want to do when we get into the classroom in the morning is we're like, oh, there's so much to do. What if I just like pick some things up? What if I just swept for a little bit? Like, that's productive. And then, the next thing, it's 30 minutes later and you just reorganize the closet and the students are about to come in. So I like to make sure that the room is a little bit clean before I leave so that I don't even have that temptation in the morning to avoid what I really need to get done in the morning. Plus, it also, makes the room bright, all that good stuff. I am not a clean person when it comes to my classroom. I'm one of those organized chaos type people. So those of you who are clean, share us your secrets. We would love to know them. We would love to know them. But here's my motto for you. All 4, all set. Got 3, good enough for me. Got 2, it's too few. Restructure your priorities tomorrow for a smoother day. Because if you only have 2 of these done, you're going to walk into a little bit of chaos the next day and you're going to start your day off with like a kind of feeling, and you don't want that. All right. I've shown you everything that you need in order to make this happen, but we all know as good teachers, you need an example. So I'm going to show you now an example, and I'm going to check on here and make sure that this is working here by creeping on the feed here too. And I hope that you love this. It didn't scan in as beautifully as I wanted it to, but we're rolling with it. But it's the same page. And this is someday in the future. This is next week, Tuesday, August 17th. Maybe this is when it's starting. Can you see it? Okay, good. You can see it. How many of you are Steven Universe fans? I'm a huge Steven Universe fan. It's like one of my favorite things in the whole world. It's a cartoon on Cartoon Network and it's flipping awesome. But I decided let's do this planner page together as if it was one of the characters. And so if you don't know Steven Universe, it's all good. You can still follow along with this. This is in the mindset of a season of a person who is a new teacher. Now, this character from Steven Universe, Pearl, is famously loving and attention to detail and very much on the neurotic side. So I thought that she would be a perfect person to talk about because she is a perfectionist and will always get herself into these situations in Steven Universe where she's like, she over plans and does all this stuff and then just comes crumbling down. So I thought this would be perfect. Let's pretend that we're her. Let's pretend that we're her. So this is what she did first. She did her gratitude. She gets a new cell phone. She's grateful for friendship, for her student Connie's sword progress, and learning how to play the bass and all these things. And her season is new teacher. And her focus every day is her spiritual state, which I would say is to be calm and collected. She's tracking her water like a boss. And we'll talk about this at the end here, but some notes for herself, just a little reminder that she does it for herself. And that she's got a meeting, some things she wants to do at home. She's going to clean up Steven Universe's room because she does that all the time. And she needs to get her sword back from Amethyst, who steals it all the time. If you know, you know. But let's take a look at her tasks because I did this like a real first-time teacher, as well as somebody who was going to a new school. This is what I did, honestly. Like I stole this from my own back to school list as a new teacher. Okay. So the first thing that I used to always do, and this is, by the way, my very scrawly cursive. I went to Catholic school, so I apologize if you can't read it. I'll read it for you. You'll be fine. So first, what I really want to do as Pearl is I really want to research seating arrangements because I know that I still got to make sure that everybody's seated 3 to 6 feet apart, and I have no idea how I'm going to do that. The second thing, though, is I need to get into my room. I haven't gone there yet, so I need to contact schools to get key and access. And then I'm also thinking to myself, like, ooh, what am I doing the first week of school? Like I just finished Practical and Comprehensible, my conference, and I want to make sure that I've got that like really nice map. And I'm a French teacher, so I'm going to include all of the things in Pav's program about making sure that I'm putting joy and justice in the French classroom. And I'm also really trying to get my rosters because they keep changing it on me. This is something that I used to do every year too. So I'm putting this on my task list is I want to get those folders and I want to label the folders with every student's name. So I really need to get those rosters. And let's say that this is about the week and a half, maybe before school starts. Let's just say that. I want to finish the syllabus. I have a syllabus. I have a syllabus template that I'm filling in and I want to finish it. I really want to finish it. I'm almost done. I also just remembered though, like I have a rough sketch of level 2 plans. I really need to finish that first week. I'm teaching French 1 and French 2 this year, and I don't know what I'm doing with my twos. I really need to figure that out. Also, my admin, as I'm planning this, they just sent me an email that says they need a copy of my certificate. So I need to send them that. I need to figure out where that is, somewhere in a binder, and send them that. And I have a bunch of summer emails because I was very restful this summer and I didn't check all my emails. So I have a lot of summer clutter that I need to get rid of, sort through, answer. I don't really know what I'm doing. So good Pearl is going down here because she's freaking out a little bit. She's looking at this list and she doesn't really know where to start. So I'm going to take every single one of these bubbles and I'm going to sort them into my box. This is the Eisenhower teacher matrix that I adjusted for you. Do now. Here's what I need to do now. First thing is I need to send that contact email because it's first thing in the morning. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to get into the school maybe by the end of the day or maybe by tomorrow so that I can get my keys. Because if I get my keys, making a seating arrangement is going to be a lot easier because I haven't been in my room yet. The next thing I need to do, I need to do my first day plans because I don't really need to know what my room looks like or exactly who's in my classroom to know what my lesson plans are going to be. And I don't really need to know what the rest of the day needs to look like, honestly. Like as long as I have my first day plans, the first day of school will go well. The first day of school will go well. So I'm going to do that first. And the next thing is the level 2 first day plans. So I'm going to try and get those at least mapped out today because then I'll know what I'm looking for when I go to conferences. I'll know what I'm looking for on TPT or on all the other places that you can get resources now too. And whenever I come across blogs on Pinterest that talk about what to do during the first week of school, I'll have something to compare it to. I can always change them later, but I need to have that outline done. What I need to do today, though, after that's done, is I need to triage my summer emails. And what that means is I'm not going to put the pressure on myself to try and finish all of my summer emails because there's hundreds probably. And a lot of them are probably like spam or like stuff from Scholastic or who knows. What I am going to make sure that I do is I'm going to go through and triage it. I'm going to delete the ones that I know are trash and just leave in there the ones that I need to answer. You know, they waited this long, they can wait another day if they need to. And definitely by the end of today, that first day plans for level 2. Delegate. You know what? Looking at this here, I bet you I could get somebody else to label folders. I don't need to do that myself. Somebody else could grab a Sharpie, copy the rosters, and label the folders. What if I get Steven? Well, honestly, let's get Connie. She probably has better handwriting to help label folders. And tomorrow, you know what? Let's do the rest of emails tomorrow. I'll send the certificate tomorrow. Like they can wait. It's fine. I need to make sure those first day plans are done first. Even though that email feels urgent because it's from my admin, they can wait until tomorrow to send that certificate because I've got to look for it first. And honestly, if I'm in the building, I could probably just hand it to them. So let me do this contact email first. Save me some time. If I have time, that's when I'll get to the rest of my list. And that's where you put the rest of your list. That's where you put the rest of your list. And so now I'm going to hone in. Pearl's going to hone in on her top 3 priorities here. Okay, here's what I'm doing first. I'm going to quickly send that contact email. That's only going to take me 5 seconds. So just do. Hey, can you send me my keys? Is the building open today? Love you, mean it, Pearl. First do my first week plans. Or actually, you know what? I looked at the week. I don't know if I have time for that today. I crossed that out. Let's just do the first day. The rest of it can wait. Let's just do the first day. The second thing I'm going to make sure that I do is my level 2 first day plans. The third thing I'm going to do is summer emails, triage those summer emails, and then get keys. Because maybe in those summer emails, now that I'm thinking about it, how much you want to bet that inside the summer emails is info about where to get my keys? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so fast forward to the end of the day. Check. All my next day stuff is ready. Now, I'm not really at school yet, so I'm going to say materials are ready. What that means is I've got a little bit of a list ready for tomorrow. Inbox clear. I put, what is that? Because Pearl probably wouldn't know what email is. All my stuff is set up for tomorrow, and tidy, definitely. Pearl is a tidy person, so you know that she's got that on lock. Here's where you move to the end of the day part. You finish tracking your water, and you're going to look at this, and you're going to say, okay, what went well today? And I put in like fun stuff here because it's Pearl, and it's a character. But I put, like things that would happen in the show, like, oh, the sword training went well. Steven was able to put up a shield. Like she got an Earth Girl's number. But she's going to let go of, because her season is calm and collected. She's going to let go of the time where she lost her cool. She's going to let go of the time that she freaked out about this and that. And I would say that you can check off here. I'm going to let go of the fact that I didn't get to all of the emails. I wanted that to be my third priority, but honestly, the first day plans, I got a nice outline on that, and that's done. So I'm going to let go of that. So let's take a look at this. This is what your planning page is going to look like every day. The colors are going to obviously be there, but this is what yours is going to look like. You're going to move through and do your gratitude and your season and your focus, and make sure that you're staying here with this. Brain dump all your tasks. Help yourself by sorting them into their appropriate priorities. And as you sort them, you'll figure out there are probably some things that you might not need to do, some things that it might actually be better if you do them tomorrow, or maybe you'll get more information throughout the day, that kind of thing. And then you can see here that she didn't have time to research seating. She didn't have time to go visit her classroom, and she didn't have time to send the certificate to her admin. That's okay. Guess where all that goes? That goes first thing on your list tomorrow. First thing on your list tomorrow in your top number 1 first due priority. Unless you actually get into your classroom, and then your priorities are going to change. Then it's going to be making seating arrangements, because making a seating chart for the first day is going to be, you'll be able to knock that out so much easier. But I hope that example is really helpful to you. Here's what you've got in the rest of your planner. Let me zoom out on this. So you'll see this is what a blank one looks like. You've got your season and your focus. You'll fill all this in. And this is what we just did together. We wrote out the tasks, the priorities, and the delegation. And then at the end, you do your daily 4. And if you got your daily 4, you're good to go. You can go home. This system will help you to get rid of the paralysis of what do I do first? That's what the whole box is for. The whole problem of having the same things on your list over and over again, because maybe the project is too big, or maybe you're trying to do it at the wrong time. This will help you with that. Now, of course, you're not going to get it right every single day, every single time, but the more that you do it, woo, too excited. Frida's too excited. The more that you do it, the easier it gets to make those brave decisions and prioritize things. It really does. And the last thing that I want to mention to you is that don't skip this part of the end of the day. Don't skip it. This is the part that is going to make sure that you're able to, at the end of the day, take your planner and your day and shut it. Put it away. So that when you come home and your family asks you, how was work? It's a 2-minute conversation instead of a 30-minute conversation. And you can have a life that's separate from work. You absolutely can. If you keep work where it belongs, at work. And it is completely okay for work to be like your everything right now, because it is back to school season. Maybe you're watching this later on where it's October, November, December, January, February, all that good stuff. And you're going to be in a different season of life, maybe in a different season of everything. Your family circumstances might change. Let me just show you what's in the rest of this. Here, I'm giving you everything you need to plan a whole week, and then some space for some notes. And at the end here, if you would like to get a planner that has all of this done for you, and it has all the dates on it and all the extra goodies that it comes with, you can hit this code here, use "Aw yeah" to get 10% off your next planner, y'all. But if you would like to use this system, this helped me tremendously. Before I made it into my own planner, this helped me tremendously in just using this system to just scrawl on a piece of paper. You can do this on a piece of paper as well. And you got this free download to make it work for you too. I hope this planning system really helps to make everything about your teaching experience easier by making your planning streamlined and simple. Even Frida got so excited about it. She was jumping off the shelves. Let me check in and see what we got here. Christine, so true. We're not making the best decisions with the system. Oh, I'm so glad. Do you start the day with gratitude? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Although I will tell you that I am absolutely one of those people who fixates on things. So there are some things like this morning, I got up and immediately started doing a task that I didn't finish yesterday. And then I paused and at 11 o'clock did some gratitude. Like you can do it at any time. You can do it at any time. Amina, thanks for being here. I'm so glad that you were all able to be here. You can do gratitude at any point throughout the day, really. Like a lot of people do it at night to be grateful and kind of reflect on their day, which I think is a cool practice. I like to do it in the morning because it helps me to focus on what really matters and to see my season and my focus. Because I have a hard time letting go of work. I'm an absolute workaholic. I always have been. It's one of the ways that I'm like an escapist workaholic. I figured this out about myself. That it's definitely one of those things that helps me to separate from other things going on around me. So, which is of course a really unhealthy habit and leads to chronic stress, which I was a part of. So I am leaving that life behind and I'm much happier now that I've learned how to separate that, and gratitude helps me with that. I'm not great at it all the time, but when I do it, and now that I'm using my planner all the time, it makes such a difference. It makes such a difference. I hope that this helps lead you to not more productivity, not more organization, because I know you already have that. I know you're already good at that. And that honestly, you can get those systems anywhere and they work. They're all really good and they all work for you. But what's different about this that I hope that you carry with you is perspective and clarity on working on the right things and the right time. And the idea that you really need to make the brave decisions to work on what's hard, what you need to do first, and be brave enough to look at your list and say, that doesn't need to get done today. That can get done tomorrow. And have a little bit of bravery to sort through things, because the truth is that you're always going to be asked to do too much and there's never going to be enough time in the day, but you can be a joyful teacher. You can have a sustainable job and you can have a life separate from your work. And I hope that this tool really helps you to get there. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I do a live class every Wednesday on subjects like this, but this one is especially to help you with your planning, y'all. So thank you so much for joining me. And I will catch you next week. Bye, y'all. Ciao. Adios. Au revoir.